What up? What up? What up? What upper? In the house on a Labor Day Monday. What's cracking? I got my Miami Heat cup. Sipping on some Gatorade, seeing what's good. I'm in the house tonight. I'm actually looking forward to football season. So, King, what up with you, brother? You good? Zay, what's up, yo? Nice. What's going on tonight? Cameron, Modoc, what's up? Brian, what's up with you? Bubba Guts. Hello, Jillian, dear. How are you? Gavin, what's up with you, brother? P, what up? FIFA. What up, Henry? What up, Adam? How you doing, brother? Dontavius is in the house. I try to do it twice a week, Mark. Just, a lot of times I'll have information, and a lot of times I'll have stuff prepared and topics to go over. But for the most part, it's been primarily just open mic. You got something you want to talk about? Let's talk about it. So, Scotland in the house. What up, Lennon? How you doing, brother? That's what that's the category that I have Steph Curry in. I don't have him in the point guard. It's interesting you mentioned that, Dave Robinson, because I don't have him in the point guard conversation. I put him in the same category with guys like Jerry West, Allen Iverson, James Harden, the combo guard. That's the guards that I put him in the same conversation with. He's the best of those guards. Add that to the fact that when you talk about guards all time in the NBA, I'm not sure that I can name 5 guards. Forget point guards. I'm not sure that I can name 5 guards better than Steph Curry. Jordan, Bryant, Magic. That's as far as I'm going. I think he was better than Jerry West. I think he was better than Oscar Robertson. Even though that Oscar Robertson logic is close. But I do think that he was better than Oscar Robertson. Simply because he did more, but Oscar may have been a better all-around player, maybe. But I would give Steph the edge simply because of what he has done throughout his career. You can make the argument that Oscar is a better player, but when I think of just overall guards in the 75-year history of the NBA, I can't name 5 better than Steph. I can't. When I think about the best guards in NBA history, he was better than Cousy. He was better than Sam Jones. He was better than Walt Frazier. He was better than Drex. He was better than James Harden. Let's see. Guards. He was better than Dennis Johnson. He was better than Gus Johnson. He was better than Fat Lever. He was better than Mitch Richmond. He was better than Tim Hardaway. He was better than Kevin Johnson. He was better than Mark Price. I could keep going. He was better than Steve Nash. He was better than Vince Carter. He was better than Ray Allen. He was better than Tony Parker. He was better than Russell Westbrook. I can't name 5 guards better than him. I can't. I can't name 5 guards better than him. I can't. Let's see. Russell Westbrook. He was better than Jason Kidd too. And Jason Kidd is a tough one for me because I think Jason Kidd is a top 5 point guard all time. But when I look at Steph Curry, you could be and I stand on this logic. A lot of people, I don't think that they get, I don't think that they understand the logic. You could be a better player than somebody, and they could be better at something. They could be better at their job than you. Stockton was better at his job than Steph Curry. Steph Curry was a better player than John Stockton, but John Stockton was better at his job than Steph Curry. So I would have, you can very well be better. You can be better than somebody as a player, but they could be better than you at their job. I think that Havlicek was a better player than Scottie Pippen. I think Scottie Pippen was better at his job than Havlicek, though. I don't think Grant Hill was better than Scottie Pippen. I do not. I do not. Scottie Pippen averaged 22 a game against Grant Hill, who averaged 22 a game against Scottie Pippen when he was on that Bulls team in his prime. So I'm not buying that logic. No. I don't know. I would not say marijuana would have a, because I don't know the effects of marijuana. And marijuana, from last I checked, marijuana would be medicinal. So wouldn't that be something that helps you? And I don't mean helps you. I mean, it keeps you rejuvenated. Again, I'm not really that well versed on what marijuana is. But I wouldn't think that it would be a detriment to you in terms of aging you, like cigarettes. But really, hoops, that doesn't really make much sense to me. Grant Hill was an all-star start as a rookie. You know, Magic Johnson started in the all-star game, and he didn't even play in the season in '92. So it's what the fans voted for. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. They do test for that, Jilly. Yes, they do. They don't test in the offseason, but they do test for that. My top 5 small forwards of all time are James, Bird, KD, Doc, and Scotty. I hope I answered your question, podcast. Dominique Wilkins was not better than Scottie Pippen. He was not. Dominique Wilkins was a supreme scorer. He was not a better player than Scottie Pippen. I do not buy that. Nope. Here's the thing that needs to be understood when it comes to me and Dame. Whenever you're comparing point guards with me, when you're gonna compare point guards with me, you got to compare league guards who are number ones. Kevin Johnson was not a number one. Barkley was the guy on that crew. It wasn't KJ. Dame Lillard was the guy on that crew from the minute he walked in the door. Even though LaMarcus Aldridge was one of the better bigs in the game, Damian Lillard was the guy on that crew. He was the number one. So I can't compare. It's like comparing Klay Thompson and Reggie Miller. I can't do that. Reggie Miller was the lead guard. They built that unit around him. The offense was ran through him. He was the catalyst in their playoff runs. Reggie Miller was. So when I think about Dame Lillard, I can't compare Dame to I can't compare him to Kevin Johnson, because Kevin Johnson was not the lead guard or the guy that was the number one. Never was that. Since you really hooped, and this is what you and I have to have an understanding about. You sound to me like you differentiate between greater and better player. I don't. And the reason why I don't is because I care about what you produced. When you did it, your skill set and everything that you did and what you produced is what made you great. Don't try to sell me the logic that you nicer than him with the pill. What did it produce? That's what I care about. And I don't care about, and I don't care that you got a better jump shot than him, or you nicer with the ball, or you got a better fall away. I don't care about any of that, my man. I care being a better player and more productive, those two things are not mutually exclusive. What did you produce? That's what I care about. I care about what you produced. And the reason why I care about that is because I've seen better players get outplayed. And I mentioned this in the past. Prime example would be this playoffs that we just saw. I would like to think that Kevin Durant is a better player than Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum outplayed him in that playoff series. So the logic that you're a better player, that doesn't mean we got to split the fact that better player and greater. No, those two things are not mutually exclusive. They are not. A guy that never gotten enough love, Alex English. Absolutely. Alex English. I stand on that. I stand on that all day. Alex English, he averaged 26 a game for him for over a decade. We don't talk about Alex English nearly enough. Took the Denver Nuggets to the Western Conference Championship when the Western Conference was a nightmare. When the gatekeepers in the Western Conference were the Los Angeles Lakers with 5 All-Stars. And he got them to the Western Conference Championship. So, absolutely. Travis, to answer your question, my top 5 power forwards of all times, Duncan, Malone, KG, Dirk Nowitzki, Charles Barkley. If Giannis quit today, Giannis isn't in the top 75 in anything. He isn't in the top 75 in rebounds. He isn't in the top 75 in points. He isn't in the top 75 in blocks. He isn't in the top 75 in playoff points. He isn't in the top 75 in rebounds in the playoffs. He isn't any of those things. Will he be? Oh, absolutely. I think that if Giannis can continue on the trajectory that he's going on, I think that we're going to have a serious conversation about this top 10 list that I have. Somebody might have to come out. Somebody may if Giannis continues to do what he's doing, somebody's going to have to come out. One of these dudes are going to have to come out. No doubt about that. Somebody is going to have to come out. I still don't get the allure of Paul George, man. I just don't. Yes, Jillian, I do. I think that we're going to have a serious conversation about. I don't think we've ever had. I'm thinking about the history of the NBA. Back-to-back defensive players of the year on the same team. So Marcus Smart just won it this year. Robert Williams could very well win the defensive player of the year next year. This year, I think it's going to be Giannis, but we're going to have a serious conversation about Robert Williams. I think we're going to have a conversation about Bam. In terms of guards, I think Drew Holiday is going to be back in that conversation. I still think he's the best perimeter defender in the game. I still think he's the best perimeter defender in the game. And Anthony Davis, we're going to be talking about him too. So those are the and I know that they're all bigs with the exception of Drew Holiday. But other than that, I think Ben Simmons is going to be in the Klay Thompson. He's going to be in the Klay Thompson area. What I mean when I say that, he's going to be in the Klay Thompson world where he's going to have to prove that he can still play. Him being elite is going to be something completely different. I think that at this point, he's going to prove that I can still play. And then next year is when he gets back to that elite level. That's why I think Ben Simmons is this year coming up. No doubt. He would have made, actually, Adam, Mobley would have made I had Mobley on the all-league defensive team before he got hurt. Before he got hurt, I had him on the all-league defensive team. That's why I'm loving Cleveland so much. That's exactly why I don't like Cleveland. I love Cleveland, man. I love what they're doing in Cleveland. And they proved which direction they're going in. They absolutely did that. And I think that Evan Mobley is going to be an all-league defender this year. I do believe that if he can stay healthy. Well, that's not true, Gigolo, because you keep saying peak Giannis. We haven't even seen peak Giannis yet. So is that fair to even say that? That peak Giannis is over peak KD? We haven't even seen peak Giannis yet. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen that version of him yet. I don't fight that. When I think about, well, you already know, Dontavius, Jason Tatum is my favorite player under 25, and I think that we're going to have a serious conversation about him being the best player in the game in another year or two. I think we're going to have a serious. There was a stretch where I felt like Carmelo Anthony was the best one-on-one player in the game. At no point did I ever feel like Carmelo was the best player in the game. I never felt like that. With all the guys who were running around, I thought Carmelo was awesome, but I never felt like he was the best player in the game. I think that there's going to be a time when we're going to have a serious conversation that Jason Tatum is the best player in the game. And the reason why is because I've seen the improvement defensively. Add that to the fact that what just happened this season that just passed, I think he's going to come back better, and we're going to have a real conversation about him being the best player in the game at some point. I never felt like that about Melo. So when I think about Jason Tatum's potential and I think about what he could be, I definitely think that it's higher than Carmelo Anthony. And that's not to slight Carmelo Anthony, because again, from 08 to 13, I was having a real conversation about that was when Bryant was running around. That was when KD was running around. James was running around. I was having a real conversation, and I honestly felt like Carmelo Anthony might be the best one-on-one player in the game. I really felt like that. And this was before James had developed into the one-on-one player that he is today. I thought Carmelo was more polished. I thought that he was more skilled at that point. I thought that his ability to get right to it, where he didn't waste a lot of time. He had one of the best mid-range games in the game. So I was a big Carmelo Anthony fan at that time. No doubt. I was a huge Carmelo Anthony fan. I still to this day have a difficult time understanding the slight that Carmelo Anthony gets. Because you got a lot of guys in the game today that are just buckets. And the reason why they buckets is because, the game has changed. There are very little guys there are very few guys who are good on the defensive side of the basketball. I think a lot of that is attributed to not being able to put hands on guys, not only not being able to put hands on guys, not being able to defend properly and taking pride in defense. Because a lot of guys don't really take pride in defense like they did 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I don't think guys don't do that as much as they did. They just don't. Mm-hmm. That's exactly why they're going the other way, Gamer. Simply because of that. Because when you look at Lonzo Ball being the distributor that he is, the defender that he is, the playmaker that he is, Lonzo Ball has improved. But if he's not available, he can't help them. I think with him being available, I think they would have been a higher seed. I think they would have been much better, even though they were decimated by injury across the board, with Caruso being hurt, with Williams being hurt, right? With Kobe White being hurt. I still think that had Lonzo been available, I think they would have been a lot better. And the fact that, he's not going to be able to start the season, that's going to be another problem for the Bulls. I think the Bulls could very well be a play-in team this year. I do. You can make that argument that Carmelo Anthony is the top 10 scorer all time. You can definitely make that argument. And I never got that about Carmelo Anthony. I thought that he would be better as a defender, considering how he came up. I don't get that. Never got that about him. Top 10 centers all time? Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Olajuwon, Diesel, Moses, David Robinson, Ewing. That's when it gets tough for me. That's when it gets straight. 8, 9, and 10 are tough. Like Dwight Howard looked like he was on his way to being a top 10 5-man. But I think he played himself out of that. Lonzo Mourning, you can make the case that he was a top 10 5-man. Nate Thurman and Bill Walton. Those are the three. You could throw Mike in there. Yeah, you could. Well, no, that's a trick question. Top 10 centers of all time and top 10 centers at their best. That's what top 10 all time means. When I was my best, I was better than you. PG has had more playoff success. Has he? Carmelo Anthony, I'm sorry. Paul George been to the conference finals, what, twice? He went to the conference finals twice. Carmelo went to the conference finals once. Paul George has been out of the first round of the playoffs since then because he got hurt after that. Paul George has been out of the first round of the playoffs one time. I'm sorry, twice. Yeah, twice. Yeah, twice. Carmelo's been out of the first round of the playoffs, what, 3 times? Mm-hmm. No, Bill Walton did not have a better career than Dwight Howard. He didn't. And he was decimated by injury. How many does Paul George have? They went to the conference finals twice, right? Paul George went to the conference finals twice. Then I think he was in the conference semifinals against Utah. I'm sorry, against oh no, he went to the conference finals 3 times. That's not true. Twice with Indiana, and he went with the Clippers too. I think they would have won the NBA championship. I don't think they would have won it, but I think that they would have been in the NBA championship had Leonard not gotten hurt. I do believe that. He did go 3 times. My fault. Yeah, my fault. I apologize. He went twice with Indiana, and he went that 1 year with the Clippers. That's correct. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. He was there 3 times. That's correct. Top 10 power forwards all time. Let's see. So you already heard my first 5. That's Duncan, Malone, KG, Dirk, and Barkley. On the other side of that, Giannis, Elvin Hayes. Elvin Hayes wasn't better than Bob Pettit, man. Giannis, Elvin Hayes, Bob Pettit. I want to put Chris Webber in there, but he was not with the drama, man. He just wasn't. Was Chris Webber better than Chris Bosh? I think he was. He was a better player than Chris Bosh, but he wasn't with the drama, though. He was not. Chris folded up when it mattered the most. He was not with the drama. He was not. I think Kevin McHale is a top 10 power forward all time. I do believe that. Don, you late, man. Tim Duncan is number 1. Focus, man. Get on our page, Don. Focus, man. Get on our page. Tim Duncan is numero 1. Focus, man. I think Powell was better than Chris Bosh. I think Powell was better than Webber, too. I got to put him ahead of Webber. He was better than Webb. Powell was better than Webb, and he was better than Chris Bosh. I do think Powell was a top 10 power forward all time. You got him 13 to 15, King Marco? I got him at 16. James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell. Magic, Bird, Duncan, Olajuwon, Diesel. Bryant, Curry, West, Oscar Robertson, Moses Malone, KD. Nah, Dontavius, you ain't selling me that. You're not selling me that whole team played tight. Mike Bibby, I'm sorry, Dontavius, you're exactly right. I read that wrong. You are exactly right. That whole team straight cheesed up. And Webb was the catalyst. You are exactly right, Dontavius. Mike Bibby was the only one who was with the drama. The rest of them dudes was not. You are exactly right about that. You are absolutely right about that. Yeah, Malone is, well, I take it a step further than that. Had Malone had the Jazz beat the Bulls just in one of those finals, Malone would be a top 10 player all time. Not top, I take that back. We'd be arguing that Malone is a top 5 player all time. We'd be having that, he'd have a legit argument to be top 5 all time. Had his Jazz beat that Bulls team just one time, we'd be having a legit argument that he a top 5 player all time. And his numbers, you can't dispute that, Warnock. There's no way that you could even give me logic to dispute that. If they had beat the Bulls one time, you can't give me any logic to dispute that. I'm all ears. Go ahead. Talk to me, my man. Tell me how. Tell me how it's possible. No, I don't think Glenn Robinson is a Hall of Famer. No. Yes, Jill. The good thing about KD is that his prime isn't over. Yeah, his prime isn't over. So he still has time to add to his resume. And that's what this is about, right? I mean, that's how you get into the top 10, by what your resume is. And, KD still has time to do that. No, I don't think so. I thought I was the only one, Brando, because when I say that, I'm a Kobe hater. I'm a dude who I hate on Kobe Bryant. I don't know the game. I thought I was the only one because I just don't remember hearing that. I just don't. I really wish I could say I did, but I don't. Does Duncan have a top 5 case? No, I don't think so, man. To be honest with you, James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, I don't think so. Mm-mm. If he wins another league MVP, Henry, that's not enough, man. That's not enough. Henry, you're going off of Kevin Durant in terms of his talent. You're not going off of who Kevin Durant is and what he has produced. Him just being buckets. Not only him just being buckets, his ability to stay healthy. When you talk about Kevin Durant being, when can you tell me, all right, this is the logic that I want to hear from you. When can you tell me from the decade when he came in the league in 2007, at what point can you tell me that Kevin Durant was undisputably the best player on the planet? When can you tell me that was? Do you think Kevin Durant was the best player last season? In the 21 season? Keyshawn, tell everybody in here why Kyrie Irving is the best offensive player of his generation. Go ahead. I'm all ears for this one. Tell everybody, I'm going to get back to the Kevin Durant stuff in a minute. Tell everybody in here why Kyrie Irving is the best offensive player of his generation. Go ahead. And before you do that, no. Go ahead. Tell everybody in here why Kyrie Irving is the best offensive player of his generation. I'm all ears. I'm all ears for this one. What up, Gabriel? How you doing? So all you talking about is his bag. You're not giving us anything about what he produced and how long he did it. But keep going. Keep going. We're all ears. That's it. All he's talking about is his bag. He's not telling us what he produced. He's not at all. And how long did he do that, Keyshawn? So unclear. Okay, so how long did he do that? So he's 40 from three and 90 from the stripe. How long did he do that? So we're clear. So he did that in a season. I mean, Steph Curry did it in a season also. So how many seasons did he do it, Dontavius? One more time for the people in the cheap seats who didn't hear you in the back, because I didn't hear you. I want to make sure that I heard you. One more time for the people in the cheap seats, Dontavius. How many times did Kyrie Irving go 50, 40, 90? One more time, sir, because I ain't hear you. Let me get this wax out of my ears. That's it. Just one season. That's all you're telling me. Hey, Glow, man, say that nonsense, man. That's such a Glow Williams. This is who Glow Williams is, ladies and gentlemen. Glow Williams is the guy who doesn't have any critical thinking. Glow Williams is the guy who regurgitates everything that he hears. That's it. So his selling point and his talking point is top 75. He's completely leaving out the fact that Pau Gasol was a top 15 player when he was running around with Kobe Bryant. He was FIBA Player of the Year, not 1 year, in back-to-back seasons, which means Kobe Bryant had arguably the best international player on the planet. He was an all-NBA performer the 5 years that they played together. All this dude Glow is doing is his talking point is the top 75 because he heard it from somebody else. Get your story straight, my man. Get your story straight. Don't come in here with that nonsense. He didn't win with a top 75 play. Get that out of here. That's nonsense. Keyshawn, I care about production, my man. Oh, so that's what this is about. So this isn't really about Kobe Bryant winning it. So what this is, Glow here is his logic is triggering people because he thinks that Kobe Bryant is better than James, and that's his logic. No problem. I'm not going to get into that debate. No, I'm not. So with that being said, to answer your question, Keyshawn, just so you know, from the entire decade, LeBron James scored almost 19,000 points, has over almost 5,500 assists. James Harden scored over 16,000 points. Scored over 16,000 points and has 5,700 assists. Steph Curry alone, just three balls alone, he's in the decade, he's got over 2,600 over 2,600 threes. Over 2,600. And I'm glad you mentioned that too, 70% from the line. What did that 70% from the line translate into? Tell everybody in here in the comments. Tell everybody in here what that 70% from the free throw line translated to in this decade. Go ahead. Tell everybody. We all ears, yo. Tell everybody in here what that 70% from the free throw line translated to in the decade. Go ahead. Tell everybody. That's Tell everybody in here what that 70% from the free throw line translated to in the entire decade. Go ahead. We listening. Now tell everybody in here what Kyrie Irving's 40% from three and 90% from the stripe translated to in the entire decade. Go ahead. Tell everybody. Because remember, you know who I am. You know I care about production. I don't just care about your bag. I don't just care about that. There's more to it than just that. There's way more to your quote-unquote bag. What did you produce with that? So, once again, it was a great playoff series, King. That was a great playoff series. And if Kyrie Irving doesn't get hurt, I think we got a different outcome. A different outcome. But I ain't surprised because that's who he is. And that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing the entire time of his career. But before James and after James, he stayed beat up. So what up, Spoo? I think this is the year that Donovan Mitchell makes the All-NBA team. I do. I think this is the year he makes the All-NBA team for the first time. He's on a much better team. Even though he's on a younger team, I think he's on a much better team than what he was in Utah. I think he's going to have a lot more opportunity to be himself. I do want to see him improve as a defender. I do want to see that. That's very important that he improves as a defender. But I think that this season coming up, I think this is the year that Donovan Mitchell makes the All-NBA team. That's where I'm at with it, Mark, and I get a lot of heat for that. But I personally, I've said it time and time again. I think LeBron James is the best offensive player in the history of the NBA. I stand on that. Stand on that to this day. Yes, he did. Yes, KD did have that. Well, he said it himself that him getting injured derailed this season. But the thing about them, and I'm not surprised by what happened in the playoffs, because I had been saying it throughout the entire playoff, but even before the season ended and we got to the playoffs, I thought Brooklyn was fool's gold. I did. I was not impressed with them. I thought that they were soft. I didn't think that they were a team that once they got up against a team that was tougher than them, that they would be able to handle it. And Boston proved that by just mopping the floor with them, by straight mopping the floor with them. They out-toughed them. And that's what I thought Brooklyn's biggest deficiency was. I didn't think they were tough enough. They looked good on paper, but at the end of the day, there was no toughness on that group. None. And I thought that they were fool's gold. The logic was that they were going to just outscore everybody. And that just wasn't going to work. It wasn't. It was not going to work. Better than Kobe Bryant, though. Now, laugh at that, Glow, whatever your name is. Yeah, laugh at that. Or Gio. Yeah, laugh at that. Yeah, he did, Cash. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Absolutely. Yes, he did. He's definitely in a better situation. And I'm a big root, and you guys know me. You guys have been around me. You know how I feel about Rudy Gobert. I dig Rudy Gobert. No doubt about that. I dig Rudy Gobert. But the fact that Donovan Mitchell is now on a team with two elite interior defenders, that should enhance his defense. That absolutely should. I think the Mavs are a playing team. I said that before we are here today. I think that the Mavs are a playing team. Let's see, the Warriors, Phoenix, Denver, Clippers, Minnesota, Memphis, Lakers, Portland, Dallas, New Orleans. Those are the 10 that I see. Mm-hmm. Yes, he was. East top 4. You got Boston, Philly, Miami, Brooklyn. What happens to? Okay, I can get with that. My top 4. I got Milwaukee, Boston, Miami, Philly, Cleveland at 5. I've already given you the logic, Gio. I've already given you the logic. So once again, let me talk to Gio because Gio wants to dominate my conversation. So now you want my attention, Gio? You got it. James, Jordan, Jabbar, Chamberlain, Russell, Magic, Bird, Duncan, Olajuwon, Diesel. Take one of them out for Kobe Bryant. Go ahead. Take one of them out for Kobe Bryant. In the EuroLeague? Okay. I'll look into that. Yeah. My man Shaq plays in the EuroLeague. I think he plays for Olympiacos. Yeah, Tim Duncan. Yeah, he won 2 league MVPs when Kobe Bryant was running around. Not only did he win 2 league MVPs, won the NBA championship twice when Kobe Bryant was running around. Not only did he win the NBA championship twice when Kobe Bryant was running around, his first team All NBA 8 times during that time. He was undoubtedly 01, 02, 02, 03 when he won back-to-back league MVPs. He was unquestionably the best player on the planet. Unquestionably, he was the best player on the planet. So no question about that. And I'm glad you mentioned that Kobe, you said Kobe eliminated Duncan 4 times. He did. He absolutely did. But that Laker team that Kobe Bryant was on, they were a freight train, a half-a-mile freight train at that, with no brakes. And I want you to remember, too, that the year that they put them out of the playoffs in 02, just so you know, Tim Duncan averaged 29 and 17 in that series. That's almost 30 and 20. Just so you know, I just want to put that on your mind. He went almost 30 and 20 in that series. And also remember, too, when they eliminated the Lakers in 98, when they swept them out the playoffs, just so you know, the Lakers swept them, they swept the Lakers too. Absolutely they did. And they stopped the Lakers three-peat. So it's and make sure that we clear on that. Ginobili and Parker is no help. Who said that? Who said that they were no help? Who said that they weren't no help? I didn't say that. I don't put words in my mouth, my man. I did not say that. I did not say that. I don't know where you get that from. The majority of the people that I talk to that who talk basketball and have legit logic, they got Kobe Bryant anywhere between 8 and 12. That's where they have him at. When I made my list, for the record, when I made my list in 2016, which was 6 years ago, ESPN came out with their list. ESPN in 2016, Bryant had retired that year. ESPN had came out with their list, and they had him at 12. ESPN came out with their top 100 list a couple of months ago. They have him at 10. I got him at 11. That's where I got him at. I got him at 11. Like you got him at 3. Yeah, I think I'm good. I'm straight. They had him at 12, then they moved him up to 10. I got him at 11. So I don't think James was a better scorer than Jordan. I don't think that. In fact, I've said that before too, that I think that the only thing that he did better, I think the only thing Jordan did better than him was score. And would Shaq have won those finals? Would Shaq would have won in those finals or make it to the finals without Kobe? OG? No, I don't think so. I don't think that that was. I don't think that he would have made it without him. Mm-mm. I don't think so. I don't. I don't believe that he would have made it without him. In fact, not only do I not think that he would have made it without him, he needed Bryant to turn into the player that he was turning into in order for them to win. The flip side to that is Bryant needed him to be the dominant force that he was in order for them to win. They ain't winning off the strength of just of Bryant. They winning off the strength of Kobe Bryant and Shaq. They winning off even though Shaq was considered the best player in the game at that time. Him and Duncan. Julian, I don't think so. Most NBA players. That means that if you line up all, not just today, that means that if you line up all players from recent history, all of them have him a top 3 player. Most of them have him a top 3 player. Good luck. Good luck coming up with that evidence. I don't think it's over for him, Greer. I think that they got a legit shot this year coming up, but I think that this year coming up for Chris Paul, I think this is it. I think this is his last opportunity to do it. If they don't get it done this year, I'm out on Chris Paul. I'm out. I'm out on Chris Paul. Mm. You think last year was it, Henry? You think that was it? I'm giving him one more shot and then I'm out. Same way I feel about the Brooklyn Nets. The same way because I'm not even gonna I take that back. I don't feel that way about the Brooklyn Nets. I'm already out on Brooklyn. But with CP, I got one more season and then I'm out. Then I'm out on him. I can't put KD over Curry, man. I can't do it. I can't. Mm-mm. That's a good question, Scott. I don't know why people hate CP as much as they do. Still have not gotten a satisfactory answer on that. I still have a difficult time with that. I do. I do have a difficult time with making sense of why people hate him so much. I don't feel I don't feel one way or the other about him. Like I'm not looking at him like, yo, I love this dude or I hate this dude. He's a great point guard. That's how I feel about him. And that's true, Jillian, because I don't know if I'm pretty sure, Jill, you remember. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure, Jill, you remember when he got into that fight with Rondo, and Rondo was one of the catalysts who said everybody thinks this guy is this, when in reality he's this. And I'm thinking to myself, what does this mean? Because I guess I haven't really seen much of that from him, but apparently that's been going on. And I don't think that that was just out the blue with what Rondo did. I don't think so. So because KD has more finals MVPs, was the better player when they played together. KD came in elite, and it took Curry time. KD better defensively. If KD can win in Brooklyn, I'll put him over Curry all the time. And with all of that being said, King, Steph Curry was doing everything that KD was doing, except more. Like, he was a back-to-back league MVP when KD was running around in the game, and he was elite. He won the NBA championship when KD wasn't around. He took his team to the finals in back-to-back seasons when KD wasn't around. KD didn't do that without Steph Curry. In fact, not only did he not do it without Steph Curry, he hasn't done it since he was with Steph Curry. And Steph Curry could have threw a monkey wrench in everything that they were doing, right? Steph Curry could have threw a monkey wrench in everything that they were doing had KD got on the crew and he said, yo, this is my crew. You need to get in line. He could have thrown a monkey wrench in that. But instead, he said, yo, I'm going to play the background, even though I am that dude. And I've proven that I'm that dude. So, and KD did do it. KD did do it in 2012. Steph did it twice, though. In fact, Steph did it 3 times. He took his crew to the NBA Finals 3 times without KD. 3. And won it twice. Won 2 league MVPs without KD. Hey, crazy. Let me tell you something. And I want you to listen to me, and you listen good. Because you know how I feel about James. Right? You know how much I love James. I need you to stay away, my man. That's all. And this isn't get out of here, go away. No. We got something going here. And I need you to stay away. And I'm not saying that I don't love you. I'm not saying that I wouldn't love to have you at this. Listen, if you could just let us handle this one. We got a good thing going here. And what we would have to do in order to get you, nah, man, I'm good with what we got. So if it's okay with you, I'd appreciate it if you stayed away. Donovan Mitchell and D Book are very similar. Those two, it's like this with those two. If I had to pick between the two of them, I would have to pick Devin Booker right now, but it's like this, though. It ain't like these two dudes are, nah. Because Donovan Mitchell is a better athlete than Book. They're both streaky shooters. I think Book is a little bit of a better defender than Donovan Mitchell. I think Book is a little bit better in transition. I think Mitchell is a better passer. But it's like this. It's not a lot. It's these two. I'm talking about like running a 100-yard dash, and this dude I ran it in 9.87 and you ran it in 9.85. These dudes are not that far apart. These two dudes are right there. Right there. Just a little bit better. Do like Edwards in Minnesota. Well, we already had that discussion, Fox. Who's the best offensive player of this generation? Forget scorer. Don't take the easy route, Fox. Don't take the easy route. From 2010 from the 09-10 season to the 19-20 season, who is the best offensive player of that generation? Who is? No, I don't think he stunted their growth. In fact, I think CP enhanced Book's game. I don't think that he stunted their growth at all. I think he enhanced Book's game. I'm just not sure, looking at Ayton and what he does for that team, I'm not sure how well he fits with that unit. I do think that they could involve him more in the O, and I think that they will involve him more in the O. But I'm not sure how well he fits with that team. I'd like to see him come back this year with a better mid-range game. If he does that, that expands their offense even more. Even more he does that. Well, the reason why I think he frustrates you, Dontavius, is because you see a 20-10 guy. You see a potential 25-12 guy, and you're like, yo, what's the problem? He looks like he can be David Robinson-esque, an elite rim protector, a glass cleaner. Why aren't you doing more of these things? What's the problem? What's the story, my man? That's why. So when you see numbers like 18 and 7, you're like, that 18 should have been 24. That 7 should have been 12. You could do better than that. That's not good enough for you. You ain't giving me more. You're not giving me what you could give me. That's why he frustrates you, because he does the same thing to me, my man. Same thing. Same thing. I don't do the dime back games because I don't know what that is. Sorry. Who's in the finals next year? I don't know who's coming out of the West. I'm confident that Milwaukee is back in the NBA championship, and I think they win it next year. I do think that. I think Wiseman starts day one. I don't think he starts eventually. I think he starts day one. I'm coming to find you, Jillian. If the Philadelphia 76ers are in the NBA championship, I am coming to find you. I promise you. I'm coming to find you, and it's going to be on. Because I know they're in your heart. I know it. What franchise question? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That loss is still unacceptable. It just is. Are the Miami Heat a top 5 franchise in NBA history? So if we're talking about the best franchise in NBA history, so the Lakers, the Celtics, I think they're at the top of the NBA in NBA history. After that, the Spurs. I think the Heat are a better organization than the Bulls. I do. I think the Heat are a better organization than the Bulls. I think the Heat are a better organization than the Jazz. I think they're a better organization than the Knicks. The Knicks are more popular, but I think they're a better organization than the Knicks. Yeah, I think that the Heat are a top 5 organization all time, no doubt. Now remember, Rocco, this Warriors run, it's been just that. Like the Spurs have been irrelevant. I mean, the Spurs have been relevant for more than 2 decades. Now remember, before Steph Curry got there, Not even before he got there. I'm sorry. When they won that playoff series in 13-14, when they got out of the first round, that was the second time that they had won a playoff series in 26 years. The Warriors were a doormat for a quarter of a century. So you bring in Steph Curry and you bring in Klay Thompson, you bring in Draymond Green. Now all of a sudden, they're a top 5 organization all time. Easy. There's a difference between sustaining greatness and going on a run. That's what the Bulls did. The Bulls went on a run. 6 straight trips to the NBA Finals in 8 years. The Warriors, 5 trips to the finals in 7 years? 4 trips in 6 years. That's a run right there. That doesn't make them an all-time great organization. They just went on a run. I'm not sure if they're a top 5 organization all time. I'm not sure about that. So, hi guys. It's about that time for me. It's been real. It's been fun. It's even been real fun. I'm going to see you guys soon. I'm going to be on Player's Choice tomorrow night, but I'll try to get back in here with you guys on Wednesday. Old school tomorrow. What do you mean old school? Oh, OG, school tomorrow. You ready to go, man? Just go in there and do what you do. You ready to do it? But I'll try to get with you guys Wednesday, but I'm going to be on Player's Choice tomorrow night. But I'll definitely try to get with you guys again later on this week. But until then, take it light, but take it.